Hi everyone, my name is Jaheen and I'm a student here at Alabama A&M, majoring in business administration and concentrating in management information systems. This purpose, the purpose of this video is to walk you through the final solution for my strategic marketing architecture portfolio assignment. I'll be breaking down how the core marketing concepts from my latest chapter glossary directly apply to our writing assignments, focusing on how Sloan Reed builds and defends the Nexus product ecosystem against competitive and regulator pressures, breaking down the three product levels and classification. Let's start with assignment one, where we look at the product architecture of the Nexus Node G2. In the chapter glossary, a product is defined as anything that can be offered to a market to satisfy a want or a need. But as we see in our assignment, a product isn't just a physical object. Marketing theory teaches us that there are three levels to a product. First, there's the core customer value, which is the main problem solving benefit the buyer is actually looking for. In our case, users aren't just buying chips and wires, they're buying digital survival, trace-free private messaging, and communication safely under the Aegis Act. Second, we have the actual product, which is the physical item itself. Things like the Node GT, 5 military grade cryptographic chips, the outer casing, and its air gap operating system. Third is the augmented product, which includes the extra services wrapped around the hardware, like our automated mesh wire network, router subscription, and 24/7 tech support. If a company fails to separate these layers, they fall into what the techs call product dilution. If the actual hardware gets banned by the government, the brand collapses. But by augmenting the product with software and services, the value stays protected even if the physical device faces strict regulations. We also see this change when we talk about product classification. When regular nomads buy the Node G2 for personal safety, it behaves as a consumer shopping product. These are products that people buy less frequently, meaning they spend a lot of time comparing prices, quality, and security features. Because of this, we have to use a selective distribution strategy, selling through hidden local hubs to protect the inventory. But when an installation like Vanguard Banks buys the exact same hardware, it shifts to an industrial capital item. Capital items are goods that become part of a business permanent operation and long-term infrastructure. The bank isn't emotionally shopping, they are looking at return on investment, corporate audits, and permanent security setups. This means our distribution channel must completely shift to a direct, high touch business to business pipeline, managing the product mix and line extensions. Moving into assignment 2, we tackle a portfolio rebalancing. The glossary breaks down the corporate product mix using 4 specific dimensions: width, length, depth, and consistency. Width is the number of different product lines a company carries. For Nexus, our width is 2 hardware nodes and cloud security services. Length is the total number of items in those lines. Currently, our length is 2, the G1 server core and the G2 Nomad mesh. Depth, depth, depth refers to how many versions of each product are offered. The G2 has a depth of 3 variations, ranging from the standard version to the long range battery module. Consistency is how closely related the lines are in production and use. Our consistency is incredibly high because everything is built by the same underground engineering teams for the exact same security purpose. Now, let's look at the operational dilemma. A rival company named Aura Inc. is launching a mid-tier market assault. To defend our position, we have to decide between product line stretching and product line filling. Stretching means lengthening a product line beyond its current range, either downward by making a super cheap version or upward by making a high-end luxury system. As Elias Thorne warns, stretching is dangerous for us right now because it forces the factory to build entirely new assembly lines, changing our premier brand image and draining our capital reserves. Instead, the assignment shows that product line filling is the much smarter defensive move. Filling means adding new intermediate items within the range we already have. By launching a mid-size router or a mid-tier node G2 Lite, we can block Aura Inc. from stealing our middle market customers. This protects our factory floor because it uses the exact same machines, engineers, and raw parts we have already have on hand. The visible service matrix under CyberSeed. In assignment 3, we transition from physical goods to service, focusing on our Ghost protocol mesh communication network. The chapter glossary outlines the 4 service characteristics that make marketing services uniquely challenging: intangibility, inseparability, variability, and perishability. Intangibility means the service cannot be seen, touched, or inspected before it is brought. During a government cyber siege, this is terrifying for users because they cannot physically see if their data paths are safe. To fix this, Sloan take practical actions to tangibilize the service, such as putting pussy green signal indicators on the physical hardware and providing live connectivity logs on the user interface to give visual evidence that the security is active. Inseparability means services are produced and consumed at the exact same time. Our subterranean engineers are building secure routing paths at the exact microsecond a panic-filled user is transmitting data. They are locked together. A failure by the engineer means failure for the user. Variability means the quality of the service depends heavily on who provides it, when, and where. During an active attack, service quality can fluctuate wildly due to worker fatigue or electronic jamming. Perishability means services cannot be stored for later use. Unused network bandwidth during a quiet morning disappears forever. It cannot be stored in a warehouse to save us when a massive raid causes traffic to spike later that night. This brings us to the service profit chain, which connects internal service quality to consumer satisfaction. The text emphasizes internal marketing, which means the company must successfully train, support, and motivate its own employees first. If our internal marketing breaks down, meaning our subterranean technical support teams are stressed out, lack tools, or get conflicted orders, the back end collapses. When a panicked user calls for help during an emergency raid, the internal breakdown ruins our interactive marketing, which is the real time interaction between the employee and the customer. An unsupported, stressed technician will give the wrong instructions or respond too slowly, destroying user trust and causing the entire network service to fail. Brand weaponization and equity protection. Finally, in assignment 4, we examine our branding strategy. The glossary defines brand quality equity as a positive differential effect that knowing the brand name has on customer response. In our case, the Nexus name stands for absolute hardware security and isolated data protection. When launching a new public facing software called Meshwire to run on unsecured civilian cell phones, the assignment models the mathematical danger of using a standard line extension. If we use the formula, we see that our total brand values relies heavily on our reliability score because civilian phones are easily hacked. Launching malware under the core Nexus name means any software bug or security breach on a regular user phone would directly drop our reliability score. A drop of just 20 will wipe out millions of dollars in brand equity and destroy our ability to charge premium prices to institutional clients like Vanguard Bank. Therefore, our strategy maps this out on the brand development matrix and proves that a new brand strategy is mandatory. By branding the software patch strictly as Meshwire and keeping the Nexus name separate, we create a solid corporate firewall. If the software if the software app faces security glitches, the damage is completely contained, leaving our high value core hardware equity safe and insulated. Conclusion and final takeaway. To wrap things up, this portfolio shows that modern marketing isn't just about selling a standalone item or running an ad campaign. True strategic, true strategic marketing requires aligning your product layers, protecting your portfolio dimensions, supporting your internal teams, and fiercely guarding your brand equity through smart positioning. When a company manages the connection between hardware, software, and internal support successfully, it creates a business architecture that can survive even the toughest competitive and regulatory sieges. Thank you so much for watching, and I look down to reading your feedback in the peer reviews.